let us study how the human brain will be, what is the structure, and also what are the parts which are present in the human brain and what are the functions of each part. The brain, it is situated in the head. It is protected by a bony skull called as cranium. The main protective layer for the brain, it is called as the cranium. See, this outer part is there now. This is called as the cranium and it is called as the skull also. We can call it by two names. One is cranium or else it is called as skull. And it is having three layers. The outer, middle and also inner. These three layers collectively they are called as meninges. Collectively they are what they are called as children? They are called as meninges. If any injury to this meninges children, it may cause a disease called as meningitis. You don't have that in your syllabus, but just you know that's all. The three layers of this outer brain, it is called as the meninges children, and this in between these meninges there is a fluid called as CSF. CSF. What is CSF? It is cerebrospinal fluid. Why the name cerebrospinal fluid is? C means, cerebro means it is related to brain. Spinal means it is related to spinal cord. Spinal cord is also one of the important part in the central nervous system. And fluid. As it is in the form of fluid, it is called as fluid. What is the function of this cerebrospinal fluid? The main function of this cerebrospinal fluid is to protect the brain from external injuries. If we met with some accidents, children, we can be rescued, we can protect ourselves, or this cerebrospinal fluid, it acts as a barrier so that it will protect our brain. This part, the brain can be divided mainly into three parts, children. One is the forebrain and the midbrain and the last one is the hindbrain. Now let us study about this forebrain. This forebrain, again it is having one more part called as the cerebrum. This part it is called as the cerebrum. You can see here, children. See, this part is called as the cerebrum. See, this part is called as cerebrum. And you can see some yellow colors here. They are called as convolutions. What are they called as? They are called as convolutions. They are called as the convolutions, and these convolutions, it increases the surface area of the brain. You might have seen the spring, children. As it is coiled, it can be placed in a very small place. When it is expanded, it becomes bigger, isn't it? So that these convolutions, it increases the surface area of the brain. And this cerebrum, this is the largest part of our brain. Which is the largest part of the brain? It is the cerebrum. Cerebrum means it is the largest part of the brain. You can see here. When compared to these parts, it is bigger. The area, this part is bigger, isn't it? And this is called as the cerebrum, and it is the largest part, and at the same time, it is having the control center. For example, we might have seen in reflex action. And this cerebrum here, it is having the centers for some senses. For example, children, if we want to taste something, who will receive the message first? Tongue. In the tongue, what type of receptors are there? Tongue. Gustatory receptors. Very good. Gustatory receptors are there, and those gustatory receptors, they are connected to the cerebrum, in which there will be an area for that taste or smell, hearing, auditory. All these type of senses or areas will be there in this cerebrum part, and it is also called as the largest part of the brain. Okay, this is the largest part, and next to the forebrain, children, we are having hypothalamus, and also we are having pituitary gland. When I am going to do about the endocrine system, I will tell you in detail about this pituitary gland. And the next one is midbrain, children. This is the forebrain, this is midbrain, and this is the hindbrain. What is the main function of this midbrain? As you all know, this is the forebrain and this is the hindbrain, and this midbrain, it acts as a relay station between forebrain and also midbrain. It acts as a relay station. Some messages, or it acts as a relay station between the forebrain and the hindbrain. Next, let us discuss about the hindbrain. This hindbrain, it is present in the posterior part of the brain. It is the last part of the brain. You can see here, children. See, this is the forebrain and this is the midbrain, and this part it is called as the hindbrain. This is the hindbrain. Here, and you can see some leaf-like structures here, and you can see some swelling-like structure here, isn't it? We can see that here. Can you see this part? This is this one. Understood? Now, let us discuss about the hindbrain. This hindbrain, children, it can be divided into three parts. One is pons, medulla and cerebellum. You can observe here the pons. Before going to pons, children, let us study about this cerebellum. It is having some the convolutions which are projected inside, and at the same time there are meninges. The layers of the brain, they are called as meninges, and inside the meninges the cerebrospinal fluid is present for protection of the brain from any external injury, and it is the largest part, and it is having the areas for our senses. This one is the cerebellum. Cerebellum is the second largest part of the brain, in which it is responsible for the involuntary actions, and cerebellum means you have to remember body posture and equilibrium. Cerebellum and takshna, you have to remember body posture and equilibrium. If he is not standing properly, if he is not steady, that cerebellum is not working properly. Understood? And the last part of the hindbrain, it is medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata, it is the last part of the brain in which it controls the involuntary actions in our body, such as blood pressure, salivation, vomiting, digestion and swallowing or etc. This is about the brain, children. Understood? If you are having any doubts, you can ask. Which is the main thinking part of our brain? Cerebellum. It is in the next class, children, let us study about the endocrine system. Because it is a tip to remember which are the parts of the brain means you can easily tell cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. Like that, it is a tip, isn't it? Cerebrum, already we have finished. Now let us study about the cerebellum. What is this cerebellum, children? Cerebellum, it is the second largest part of our brain. Which is the first part of our brain? First part? Cerebrum. What it is having to increase the surface area? It is having convolutions. It is having some convolutions, and it increases the surface area of the forebrain or the brain, children. And here cerebellum, children, it is responsible for the control of skeletal muscles. Now let us study about the cerebellum once again. Cerebellum, it is the second largest part of our brain, and it is responsible for the action or control of skeletal muscle and also precision activity. Precision activity means, for example, if you want to hold this piece of chalk, children, your cerebellum will be controlling that. Who will control? Cerebellum. If you want to hold something, for example, if you want to hold, now I am holding like this, isn't it? I am not doing like this. Just I am holding like this steadily, and for this precision activity, cerebellum is important. And cerebellum is also important for maintaining the body posture. In the next class, children, let us study about the endocrine system.